Hello, and welcome to the Vintage Reel Service Guides. In this video, we continue with servicing a Penn 720 spinning reel. This is reassembling the reel and testing. The first thing we have to do is reinsert the spool shaft sleeve into the back of the housing. There's a small niche at the back of the housing for it. Remember, the spool shaft sleeve has a narrow side and a wider side, and the narrow side is the side that goes into the niche at the back of the housing, so that just slips in there. Then we can put the dog and dog spring back together. So grab the dog, hold it with the flat side towards you, and grab the little spring and fit the circular part of the spring into the circular opening in the front of the dog, the mouth of the dog. Then make sure that the eccentric, the little brass disc inside the housing, the flat side is facing towards the front of the housing. Then press the dog and dog spring down onto that center nib and make sure that the leaf on the spring touches the back of the housing. If it doesn't, you can bend it just a little bit. That's what makes the clicker work. Now you can make sure that the thrust washer is placed onto the main gear and reinsert the main gear. So just grab that little white nylon thrust washer, slide it onto the main gear shaft, and then slide that shaft into its opening in the housing. That's looking good. Now we can reassemble the pinion gear assembly. Remember, there's the pinion gear itself, there's a washer, and there's a sleeve. So the washer goes on first onto the gear. Then we grab that sleeve. Again, there's a narrow side and a wider end. The narrow end is the one that goes onto the sleeve. The wider end goes towards the front of the housing. There's also a small hole that lines up with the small hole in the housing. So we just slide that in, then grab that small screw and tighten it down. Make sure that the screw is flush with the housing. That shows that it's matched up with the hole properly. Give it a few spins, things are looking good. Now we can replace the rotor cup. So make sure it's all clean and oiled. Everything's looking good. Slip it onto that shaft. Notice there's some flat sides to that shaft. That's important. The opening in the rotor cup is round, but the washer has flat sides, so make sure that that fits down into that little notch for it, and put the 3/8 inch nut on there, grab a 3/8 inch socket wrench and tighten it down. Hold on to the rotor cup while you're tightening. Looking good. Give it a few test spins. The gears are moving like they're supposed to. We must be doing something right. Now we can insert the crosswind block. Notice that the main gear has a small nib on it. Rotate that towards the front of the housing. Then take the crosswind block, and that slot in the back side of the crosswind block fits over that nib. And you just have to hold it in place because there's nothing really holding it yet. Then you grab the spool shaft, just push that into the front of the rotor cup, and that will go on through the crosswind block and all the way to the back of the reel. Now, notice there's a couple of small holes in that shaft. You need to pull that forward so that those holes line up with the holes in the crosswind block. Then grab the crosswind block connector and press it into those holes. You might need a little finesse at this point. Just move the connector back and forth a little bit and the shaft, and that sleeve at the back will keep coming loose because there's nothing really holding it until you put the housing plate on. Then grab the handle. Remember, the When you put that on, it goes counterclockwise to install it. Tighten it up good. Things are looking good. Must be doing something right. All right, now we're going to do a few tests. So, with the anti-reverse off, the handle should turn either way. Then we engage the anti-reverse and we should hear the clicker. Then we grab the housing cover, snap it into place. You should hear it snap into place all the way around the edges. Grab the screw and tighten that down. Make sure the handle's on good and tight. Give it a test. With the anti-reverse engaged, it should only turn in one direction. Then we grab the spool, push it on, and then twist it clockwise until it clicks. Then spin the drag cap on until it's on good and tight. Give it a few spins. Try it with and without the anti-reverse. Looking good. Flip the bail. The bail should flip back over into the retrieve position when you turn the handle. Any tight spots or noises at this stage tell you to stop and recheck your work before calling the service complete. Go back through the service procedures as necessary to troubleshoot. If you'd like to follow a detailed step-by-step version of this service with photos and part notes, you'll find the full Penn 720 procedure on the Vintage Reel Service Guide site, along with guides for other mid-priced American-made reels from the same era. Time to go fishing.